Forza Creators Guild.
Forza Creators Guild.
Welcome, everyone, to Season 4, Round 3 of Forza Drift events. We are here today on March 10th. Today is the main event. Head-to-head battles through the entire top 32 bracket from our qualifying drivers from yesterday, March 9th. I'm looking forward to seeing all of the head-to-head action. Hope everyone is enjoying themselves this morning or afternoon or evening, no matter where you are in the world. Of course, this is an international league, and we have international viewers here on youtube.com/Forza Drift Events and twitch.tv/Shunzi. I am Shunzi, and I'll be your host today, of course. And we have our convoy established, ready on the line. We're going to go ahead and take a quick peek back at the keys to victory for anyone who is just joining us. We're going to take a look here at the keys to victory. It is snappy and wide initiations in Outer Zone 1. We did see yesterday a lot of drivers who are pretty experienced having a little bit of trouble finding the right speed and the right angle to get into Outer Zone 1 after the pretty difficult initiation zone. Of course, smooth transitions over that middle elevation change of the track. It is a figure 8, and so our drivers are going to be passing over the middle of this track. There is an elevation change about 3 times. It's going to be 3 times per run. So making it over that middle part and having a smooth transition into the Outer Zone 2 area early, not late. A lot of drivers cutting that Outer Zone 2 a little bit late and not able to maximize the amount of points they were able to get. Of course, filling out that zone as deep as possible is a crucial part of this track for leading and chasing today. Of course, that's where the largest zone is, so we definitely will be looking at all of the depth and coverage of that zone. A wide line out of Outer Zone 2 and through the only inner clipping zone of the entire track. Setting yourself up for a solid inner clip 1 coverage is going to be very important for our lead driver, as if you cut the Outer Zone 2 exit too early, you're going to make it really difficult for the chase driver to follow your line, and performing a lead line that is chaseable is the name of the game here. A transition to settle your car out of Inner Clip 1 into Outer Zone 3, another deadly zone. Speed management and angle is going to be crucial. We'll hopefully see some e-braking, some left foot braking, and some skill expression through this part of the track. Of course, finishing out the track with maximum angle and style is really what's going to separate the drivers here today. Let's go ahead and take a quick peek at the track showcase we have for you. Once again, it is FDE owner, Shred It, going through the entire track. Of course, we see these 3, 2, 1 cones, all recognizable from yesterday. Checking out the outer Zone 1 area. There's that elevation change there in the middle of the track, and of course, the Outer Zone 2. Cutting it on the side of the zone and not the front of the zone will be very crucial. Again, the longest zone of the track. Going out wide to those yellow and blue barriers to the inner clip 1. This is where you're going to see that left foot braking or the potentially e-braking to get the car settled into the right angle to finish strong to the end of the judged section. Now, as we are in the main event day, we have our live 32-player bracket here for you. Now, I do want to explain how we're going to be organizing convoys to get through this bracket. Now, if you look at the top left-hand of your screen, you're going to see 8 drivers, starting out with Karma Mark IV versus Hodio, Bubba versus Live It Up Boy, FPS Noob versus Theo, dracken, T-Masta versus Shake and Bake. We'll have this convoy up first. Our drivers will be competing for top 16, the quarterfinal position, and the semifinal position. So out of this convoy, 1 driver will emerge and make it to the semifinals. So, without any further ado, we do have drivers on the line ready to go. I believe up first we're going to have Karma Mark IV versus Hodio. It is indeed Karma Mark IV, putting up an incredibly satisfying to watch, an incredibly skillful qualifying run yesterday with a total score of 97 out of 99. Let's see what Karma Mark IV can do on their leading run here on E-Town. Lead driver with a little bit more grip out of the gate. Chasing driver going into the 3-2-1 cones. Karma Mark IV hitting the grass there on outer zone 1, but able to maintain control of the car through outer zone 2 with a little bit of gap in front of Hodio. That gap opening up even more through outer zone 3, and Karma Mark IV putting up a good run with an early mistake there. Again, that outer zone 1 is very tricky to get right after that initiation, that very difficult initiation where you have to make sure your speed is right, you have to understand your tune, your build, and of course it is now Karma's turn to chase, and is Hodio's turn to show what they have on the lead. Hodio, not as much grip on the straight as Karma Mark IV, but a very good entry into outer zone 1, and good coverage so far of outer zone 2. A little bit of bumper contact there in early OZ2. Let's see how these drivers, lead driver missing inner clip 1 by just a hair there, but lining up for a decent outer zone 3 grab. Very interesting, a couple of mistakes here and there, these drivers really pushing themselves to the limit. Let's go ahead and see what the judges have to say about that initial run here on E-Town in round 3. Once again, today is the main event, so head-to-head battles all the way through. And it looks like our judges are in unison already. It is Judge 1, Judge 2, Judge 3 with an advanced for Karma Mark IV. Well done, Karma. Moving on to that top 16 position. Unfortunately, Hodio not able to put up as high scoring of a lead run. Karma advances. Hodio being a new driver to FDE, congratulations on making it in the top 32, but you did not make it in the top 16, and your competition life is over here now. On to the next group. The next head-to-head battle is going to be Bubba versus Live It Up Boy. Waiting for our drivers to make their way over to the starting line. All right, here we go. We have Bubba in the Corvette in the leading position and Live It Up Boy in the S15 in the chase. Lots of cones going down there. Regardless, a fast entry into outer zone 1. The Corvette able to get grip and turn that max angle into a beautiful outer zone 1. A little bit of a struggle here from the chasing driver, sacrificing depth in the zone to try and close this major gap that's opening up from lead driver Bubba. Live It Up boy just not able to maximize the grip and speed of their vehicle. Bubba not sacrificing angle, speed, or style there at all, putting up a great leading run. Let's see how the roles will reverse. Live It Up boy now in the chase. Bubba with that extra grip and speed hopefully is able to manage chasing a slower car. Let's see how they're able to do. Big synchronized initiation here into outer zone 1. Looking very good here from both drivers so far. A little bit of an angle issue early on for lead driver Live It Up boy, but still holding strong. Unfortunately missing the inner clip 1 and finding a little bit less angle than chase driver through outer zone 3. Let's see what the judges have to say about that run. Again, another battle for top 16 between Bubba and Live It Up boy. It looks like Judge 1 and Judge 2 are already agreeing. It is Bubba advancing to the top 16 position. Live It Up boy, congratulations on your top 32. Your tournament life is over. Back to the starting line here on E-Town. We have 2 more drivers coming up. Let's see who they are. It is going to be FPS Noob versus FDE rookie driver Theo Dracken. Theo Dracken in an RX-7, and I believe that's an F12. I'm not sure on the Ferrari model, but here we go. Nope. Okay, well, I guess they agreed that that's the horn. All right, well, let's just go ahead and roll with it. Drivers, remember, I control the horn. The camera car is the horn guy as well. However, a good initiation from both drivers. Theo fighting angle and speed to try to keep up with this Ferrari. Lead driver kind of pulling into inner clip 1 and making contact with Theo on the inner clip zone. Very interesting initial run there. Just making our way back to the starting line. We'll go ahead and see what Theo can do in the leading run. Of course, you see a little bit of a gap opening up there early on and just not able to close it. And on the attempt to close it before inner clip 1, just a little bit too much speed and contact being made there. I don't know who's doing the horn, but that's okay. Both drivers understood. And we're into outer zone 1. Not as much deep coverage in outer zone 1 as you might hope. Outer zone 2, lead driver Theo hitting the wall and straightening out just a touch there. Let's see what happens in outer zone 3. Another wall tap, but no coverage lost. A decent run from Theo Dracken on the lead, but the lead from FPS Noob might have just inched it out. Let's take a look at the judge's decision. It looks like we have a one more time. Okay, drivers, we do have a one more time for Theo Dracken and FPS Noob. Please, again, leave the honking up to the FDE camera car. Okay, a little bit of that gap opening up early on as well. Let's see how that gap closes up into outer zone 1. Some front end to back end contact there for our chase driver Theo Dracken, but still holding on to the course. putting up a good look through outer zone 2 and inner clip 1 with a synchronized transition a little bit too deep into outer zone 3. And that is Theo Dracken making contact with the wall and sending themselves straight through the zone. An unfortunate late contact there from Theo. Let's go ahead and switch up the roles now. It is Theo in the lead and FPS Noob in the chase. Let's see how Theo's able to handle this lead run. Lots of angle, a little bit overcooked from Theo on the lead. FPS Noob chasing pretty closely here through outer zone 2. Any gap that opens is quickly shut down. Both drivers making it through inner clip 1 and into outer zone 3. A little bit shallow there on the line, but a good run nonetheless. One more time from the judges previously. We'll see now who is going to advance to the top 16. 1 vote, and there it is. 2 votes for FPS Noob sends Theo Dracken out of the competition. Good qualifying run yesterday, but unfortunately not enough. FPS Noob takes the top 16 position from Theo. A great run, but just not quite enough. Okay, let's take a quick peek over at the top 32 bracket as it stands. I believe we have one more head-to-head battle until we move into the quarter-final competition part of this convoy. Once again, the top left of the bracket, we're starting with 8 drivers in this convoy, and only 1 will emerge for that semi-final position. Up next, we have, like you see it here, T Masters versus Shake and Bake. T Masters in the lead. Shake and Bake in the chase. Let's see how this grip looks on the straight. A little bit of a slow start there from the lead driver. Missing the depth on outer zone 1. Shake and Bake having a hard time with the grip on this car, but still managing to hold on to the run. Again, sacrificing the depth of each zone to try to make up that gap. But T Masters putting down a good line with good angle and speed to make sure that gap is never closed. It is now Shake and Bake's turn to show their stuff in the lead position. It is T Masters in the chase. Shake and Bake going into the initiation zone. A nice wide angle and a good coverage of outer zone 1. Shake and Bake going with a little bit of contact there from chase drivers T Masters, setting them off course for just a second there, and a little bit more contact through inner clip 1, sending Shake and Bake straight. Some early and late contact here from T Masters on the chase, but Shake and Bake showing some skill there by being able to maintain control of the vehicle and continue the drift. Let's take it to the judges panel. Some interesting mistakes there for both drivers on the chase and really the lead too. And I definitely could have guessed it. It's going to be a one more time between T Masters and Shake and Bake. And basically a second chance to go ahead and tighten up your lead run as much as possible and attempt to avoid too much contact in that chasing position. This Mustang with perhaps a little bit more speed and grip, with an early contact into the wall before outer zone 1, sending them very shallow through outer zone 1, but outer zone 2 being hit cleanly by our lead driver, sacrificing a little bit of angle to speed up there through the inner clipping zone. Shake and Bake not sacrificing angle at all, but perhaps leaving too much space between the lead and the chase. These cones have been devastated, but that's no matter. It is now Shake and Bake's turn to be in that lead position, and it is T-Masters getting ready for a rolling start for their second chase. A little bit of a rolling start there to try to keep up with Shake and Bake, and that is an early halt from our chase driver T-Masters. Shake and Bake going through the course. I'm curious to see what the judges are going to say here. It looks like that's going to be a restart. Okay. Let's go ahead and turn it around, get back to the starting line. It is going to be a restart. Of course, that does make sense. The judged section does not begin until after our 3, 2, 1 cone. So if a driver does not like the starting, they can go ahead and vote for a restart there. And here we are back at the line. All right, a restart for this one more time. Shake and Bake in the lead. Team Master in the chase. Good entry and coverage of outer zone 1 for Shake and Bake there. A little bit of a sacrifice of angle for the entry into OZ2. The gap being managed pretty well here by our chase driver T-Masters. And Shake and Bake just on the entry of each of these zones, I believe just being a little bit conservative with the throttle on the entry of these zones to try and avoid those deadly walls. Those deadly walls definitely causing our drivers to be a little bit more thoughtful going into these zones, but that might be the undoing of, unfortunately, Shake and Bake. And unfortunately, you are out of the competition. It is Team Masters moving on to that top 16 position, and Shake and Bake making it into the top 32 yesterday. Congratulations on that, but unfortunately, your time here is done. GG's to Shake and Bake. Thank you for competing. We do now have our top 16 drivers for this convoy filled up. It is top 16. Karma taking out Hodio. Bubba taking out Live It Up Boy. FPS Noob taking out Theo, Dracken, and T-Masters taking out Shake and Bake. These are now your top 16 drivers, I believe, are going to be competing for that top 8 position, the right to be in FDE Season 4 Round 3 semifinals. I believe first up we are going to have Karma Mark IV versus Bubba, once again fighting for their right to be in the semifinals, quarterfinals. Karma in the lead, Bubba in the chase. A top 8 battle right here and now. Oh, early contact in the initiation zone there, sending Karma out wide of the zone. Heavy contact into the initiation zone, kind of shaking up Karma a bit here. I'm not sure exactly what the judges are going to call on that. We'll go ahead and wait for the word. Let's see judges' decision, and we'll make our way back to the starting line. Contact that big, that massive, is going to cause some trouble. You definitely are going to yeet someone off the track with that much speed and momentum transfer. You can see there Karma being pushed way off the track. I'm going to go ahead and wait for word from our judges. It looks like it's still going to be a battle. Okay, unfortunately, Bubba's still on the lead. It is going to continue. This is odd. Let's see. Bubba in the lead, Karma in the chase. Okay. Good zone coverage, looking solid from our lead driver, Bubba, in the Corvette. Great looking line here from lead driver. Karma not letting a gap open up that's too wide. A really great lead, a really great chase there. But that initial lead from Karma putting question marks in my mind. Okay, it looks like that's Karma Mark 4 with a Judge 1, Judge 2, and Judge 3 advance. Karma making their way into the top 8. And unfortunately, Bubba getting kicked out here, and now that's the end of your tournament run. Congratulations on that top 16 finish. It looks like that is going to be it for this convoy, so we will be going to a commercial break here on YouTube and Twitch. We hope you are enjoying the head-to-head battles so far in the main event. Don't go anywhere. We have another convoy of drivers coming up next.
Forza Creators Guild.
Forza Creators Guild.
Welcome back to FDE Season 4, Round 3 here at E-Town. So far, today in the main event, we have seen drivers make it through all the way to the quarterfinal positions. We do have another group of drivers fighting for their right to get into those quarterfinals, but I believe we need one more pair of drivers. I believe if we take a quick look at top 32, this will all make much more sense instead of me sitting here and guessing. Yes, so we do need FPS Noob versus T Masters to go ahead and have their head-to-head and make it into the top 8, and after that we'll see Karma and the winner from that battle moving on and doing their battle for top 4. So you can see the top left bracket, what has already taken place. Karma kicking out Hodio from the top 16 position. Bubba once again taking out Live It Up Boy. FPS Noob taking out Theo, Dracken, and T-Masters taking out Shake and Bake. And I would like to clarify, as we are still organizing the convoy and getting our drivers ready to go, that this is something that hasn't really happened a lot in round 1 or round 2, but after a conversation with our judges, because of that early contact from Bubba and Karma Mark IV, that contact into the initiation zone that pushed Karma, Bubba making contact with Karma in the lead, that pushed Karma off the track, that was clearly the chase driver's fault. So Bubba kind of DNFing that chase run there, and that ultimately being the reason why Karma Mark IV was able to push through. Bubba, an incredibly talented driver here, putting up incredible angle and style and smoothness with that Corvette, but unfortunately, it's small mistakes, ladies and gentlemen, that will cost you your competition life. We are finding our way back to E-Town currently. Definitely looking forward to all of the head-to-head battles today. We have lots of incredible drivers here and lots of great matchups. Personally looking forward to our other drivers, Twirls and James Neilio, putting up a score of 96 yesterday in the qualifying runs. Really incredible to watch. I'm excited to see how they're able to translate a great line into a great head-to-head battle. We can go ahead and take a quick peek back over to the keys to victory. For anyone who is just joining us, thank you for joining us here on youtube.com/Forza Drift Events, or over on Twitch at twitch.tv/Shunzi. Great to see all the names in here, everyone getting excited for the head-to-heads, chatting about how they wish they were able to compete. And if that is you, and you would like to compete in FDE moving forward, take a look at our website. It is ForzaDriftEvents.com. Once again, ForzaDriftEvents.com. Season 4 is not over yet. This is round 3, but there are 3 more events looking forward to the rest of the season. I believe round 4 coming in at the end of March. So for anyone who is interested, find out all the information about the competitions and future dates at ForzaDriftEvents.com. We are just waiting for our drivers to get into E-Town here, loading in with Forza Horizon 5, a full convoy. I believe we're going to be starting out with FPS Noob versus T Masters, trying to battle it out for that top 8 position. I will go ahead and flash the top 32 after their battle so we can see what is coming up next. I believe it's going to be Karma Mark IV versus the winner of FPS Noob versus T-Masters. So we will find out more information about that shortly. 1 quick second. Okay. Driving up to the area currently. Does take a bit of background behind the scenes work to prepare these head-to-head battles. If only Forza would give us some more tools, might be a little bit easier, but we make do, don't we? I'm sure Forza Motorsport players feel the exact same. All right, we are almost to the line. Just making some quick adjustments. All right, we are almost there. Apologies for the wait. We have more head-to-head battles coming up for you in just a moment. Once again, it is Team Masters versus FPS Noob up first, and we are almost at the line here. We are here. All right, over to E-Town. All right. In the lead position, we do have FPS Noob in that Ferrari, known to make a good amount of horsepower and has quite a lot of grip. We also have Team Masters in the chase, ready to go. All right. FPS Noob with incredible first zone there. Great coverage and angle. T-Masters not allowing a gap to open up. Great coverage of inner clip 1 for our lead driver, and a great entry into outer zone 3. A fantastic lead run from FPS Noob. T-Masters hot on the heels of FPS Noob throughout the entire course. A great looking run. Let's see how our drivers are able to mix it up here as Team Masters goes into the lead position. And FPS Noob goes into the chase. A wide entry for Team Masters into outer zone 1, but looking steady through that zone. FPS Noob catching up early on in OZ2 to match that angle and style through that zone. A little bit of a shallow inner clip 1 there from lead driver Team Masters, but yet again another beautiful tandem run between these players here. I don't know how I would score that. That's a difficult one to score there. Lots of details to take a look at for our judges. Very close run. It might as well have been a mimic from the lead and chase from both drivers. Good runs, good chase and lead. Yes, indeed. These drivers who are making it in the top 32, not holding back when they're on the line for their top 16. I believe this is actually, a top 8 position being fought for here and now. So, yeah, these drivers making it a far way already into the competition. Top 8 is no joke. Lots of deliberation. Of course, our judges utilizing the power of YouTube to have live replay access to these runs. Unfortunately, Twitch is behind in that regard. But nonetheless, it looks like Team Masters is moving on to that top 8 position. Congratulations on your top 16 run, FPS Noob. Great looks. But your time in round 3 is over. Let's go ahead and flash that top 32 bracket. What we just saw was FPS Noob being kicked out by T-Masters. I believe up next we are going to have Karma Mark IV versus T-Masters fighting for their top 4 semi-final position. Go ahead and wait for our graphic to update. Our organizers working behind the scenes to make sure this runs as smoothly as possible. We'll see a graphic update here soon. And I believe it should be Karma in the lead and T-Mastas in the chase. T-Mastas a bit lost. Kind of shaking out the nerves here potentially. Definitely not easy having a top 8 run and then following that up with a top 4 run immediately after. Competition here in round 3 is heating up. This is our first semi-final head-to-head battle here on E-Town. Karma in the lead and T-Mastas in the chase. T-Mastas going for that rolling start once again. Karma wasting no space with this entry with a beautiful coverage of outer zone 1. A little bit of early contact there from our chase driver, sacrificing a little bit of angle to minimize this gap that is opening up. Good coverage from our lead driver Karma through interclip 1. Great looking run, man. That 97 qualifying score from Karma coming back and being displayed here and now in a top 4 head-to-head battle between these drivers. Man, the consistency at this level is real. T-Mastas not letting a gap open up. Let's go ahead and see what T-Mastas can do on this lead drive. Big entry for T-Mastas. They're looking solid so far. Not any room wasted on outer zone 2. Oh my goodness, it is Karma Mark IV stuck to the door of lead driver T-Mastas through the entire course. That proximity second to none. Karma and T-Mastas putting up a run for the history books here on E-Town in round 3. And at this point, I am glad I'm not a judge because both of those lead and chase drives were remarkable. Judges deliberating on who makes it to the semifinals. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, this is a top 4 battle. Both of these drivers fighting their way to the top 8, qualifying yesterday, fighting for top 16 today, making it through to the top 8, and now it is the judges' decision who makes it further in today's main event. Really incredible to see that outer zone 2 proximity. That, for me, was a highlight. Karma really managing their speed perfectly through outer zone 2 and into that interclip 1 zone. It looks like Judge 3 says one more time, but it is indeed Karma Mark IV with a Judge 1 and Judge 2 advance. Moving on to the semifinals. Congratulations to T-Mastas for making it to that top 8 position. No small feat in and of itself, but your time in round 3 is over. Beautiful run. Beautiful run. I hope I see some highlights in the FDE Discord on that one. Let's take a quick peek over at the bracket, as we did just see Karma moving into the top 5, and I believe now we are going to see Twirls and Reap Drifts on the top right hand of your screen. It is our 2nd seed versus our 31st seed, fighting for their right into top 16. A top 16 head-to-head here and now. It is Twirls in the lead and Reap Drifts in the chase. Big gap opening up early on from our lead driver Twirls, leaving Reap Drifts to play the catch-up game here, while Twirls just twirls his way around the track here, putting up an uncontested and unfettered, beautiful lead run. Reap drifts, just not that car, that tune, that build, just not able to match the speed and grip that Aston Martin is able to in the lead. Let's go ahead and check out this opposite run here. It is Reap drifts in the lead and twirls in the chase. Little bit of a slow go off of the line, but a big initiation and full coverage of OZ1 nonetheless. I believe we're going to see Twirls making a run for that door through outer zone 2. And yes, indeed, Twirls on the heels of Reap Drifts, who unfortunately straightens out through that inner clipping 1 zone. Twirls not phased and on the door pretty much the whole course there. Reap drifts with just perhaps not enough power, perhaps not enough grip, but it's not up to me, it's up to the judges. And it is an advance from all 3 judges for Twirls. Congrats on that top 32 finish, Reap drifts. Your time in the competition is over, unfortunately, as Twirls moves on to the top 16 position. Let's see who we have next. I believe we're going to continue with the top 16 battles. It is going to be WK Gutter versus Twin A. All right, both drivers on the line and ready to go and show their stuff. It is WK Gutter in the lead, Twin A in the chase. All right, let's see what OZ1 has for us with these drivers. A very shallow run from chase driver Twin A. WK Gutter not phased by anything, putting up maximum angle here through all of the zones. Perfect coverage so far from lead driver WK Gutter, and unfortunately Twin A with an early mistake in outer zone 1, opening up a massive gap that they were fighting to catch up with all course. Unfortunately not able to. WK Gutter flying away with that lead chase. It is now Twin A's chance to cause havoc in their lead run. WK Gutter off the line, calm, cool, and collected, ready to snatch this top 16 from lead driver Twin A. Twin A with a decent outer zone 1, but Gutter finding his way to the door. A little bit of a shallower angle here from Gutter, but matching that angle through inner clipping 1, an unfortunately awkward, oh no, an awkward line through outer zone 3. I don't know how much that's going to hurt their score, but a little bit too much side-to-side action there from Gutter through the inner clipping point, kind of setting themselves up for an awkward entry into OZ3. That early mistake from Twin A on their chasing run might as well have been the same sort of mistake. We'll see how our judges deliberate on this. Looks like our judges have a lot to consider here. It's going to be a one more time. All right, WK Gutter and Twin A back to the line here. A one more time called by our judges. Similar mistakes at similar points in the run. Of course, Twin A with that early flub, and WK Gutter with that late OZ3 mistake. We'll go ahead and see a replay here. Looks like Gutter is backing up from the line here. Do I call it here? Are we good? Okay, here we go. All right. There we go. Off of the line. It is a one more time from WK Gutter and Twin A. Gutter with another great coverage of OZ1. Twin A trying to make sure they keep up with Gutter's great speed and angle through OZ2. The gap slowly increasing here between these two drivers. Twin A throwing themselves into OZ3, but perhaps just not able to completely close that gap. Great looks from Gutter as usual with an incredibly clean and high angle line there through all of the zones. Really up to Twin A on that to try and catch up. Let's see what Gutter does in the chase now. We'll see if they can clean up their chasing run into outer zone 3. Cones are done and dusted at the start. A big initiation from lead driver Twin A through outer zone 1. A little bit of a gap opening up, but Twin A just suffering a little bit of a loss of angle through outer zone 2. Both drivers setting up for outer zone 3 here, and Twin A with a little bit less clean of a lead line there that might hurt their score. Gutter trying to find that door and doing a pretty dang well job at it as well. Off to the judges panel. What do we have for the decision? I believe that was a one more time from the last run, and here we have it. It is an advance from all three judges for WK Gutter, advancing to the top 16. We'll take a quick peek at the top 32 bracket. Once again, it should be slightly updated. We did just see Twirls taking out Reap Drifts and Gutter taking out Twin A. Both drivers finding themselves in the top 16. And now we should be seeing Dubie Bandit versus Solo Lesie. Solo Lesie in the lead position, Dubie Bandit in the chase. Solo Lesie known to be a very talented driver and tuner, trying to really optimize their build for maximum angle and speed. So if Dubie Bandit is not able to match that speed, as we see here, Solo Lesie really not sacrificing angle at all, but still flying away through the course as Dubie Bandit just left in the dust, unfortunately. Still a great looking line from both drivers, but that gap could not be larger. Now there's still the chance for Dubie Bandit to put up a great lead run. Solo Lesie has to go mistakeless here. Any sort of major contact like we saw earlier with Karma and Bubba could change things up on a dime. A bit of early contact there before the judge section. It is Dubie Bandit missing outer zone 1 and Solo Lesie trying to find the door with this bit of an awkward line. Not as much angle as Dubie Bandit might want here, but looking clean at the exit of OZ2 and through interclipping 1. I believe some late contact there might have caused Dubie Bandit to have a bit of a shallow entry into OZ3. But Solo Lesie really just not letting any sort of gap open up. Dubie Bandit doing their absolute best to try and shake Solo Lesie off their heels. But it looks like Judge 1 advances Solo Lesie. That's a Judge 2 advance and Judge 3 as well for Solo Lesie. Moving on to the top 16. Congratulations on your top 32 qualification run yesterday, Dubie Bandit. But I promise you, no one's blaming you for taking an L here against Solo Lesie. Again, perhaps one of the crowd favorites in these competitions. It looks like we are actually going for a regroup. We do need other drivers to continue. We'll take a quick peek over at the top 32 bracket as we reform this convoy and prepare for another group of drivers. We now are going to be looking forward to Frankenstein and Monspe coming up next. After that, we will have our top right part of your bracket on the screen now, filled out. After Frankenstein versus Monspe, we will see Twirls versus Gutter fighting for the top 8, and of course Lesie versus the winner of Frankenstein and Monspe fighting for that top 8 position as well. Don't go anywhere. More head-to-head action on the table. Don't go anywhere.
Forza Creators Guild.
Forza Creators Guild.
Welcome back once again to round 3 here at E-Town. We are ready on the line, all with Frankenstein and Prince. We are going to get straight into the action. I believe this is a top 16 head-to-head battle from these drivers with Frankenstein in the lead and Prince in the chase. All right. Big entry into outer zone 1. Decent coverage. Maybe a touch of contact there, but not much at all. Going through outer zone 2, it looks like our chase driver Prince is having trouble keeping angle through outer zone 2, while lead driver Frankenstein finds his way cleanly through the rest of the course. An outer zone 2 mistake, the place you absolutely do not want to make a mistake. Of course, the entries into OZ 1, 2, and 3, the entries are where you're going to see a lot of those mistakes happening. But midway through OZ 2, I'm sure Prince is going to be frustrated with that. Let's go ahead and see Frankenstein in the chase and Prince in the lead. Prince is going to have to work his magic to get Frankenstein. A little bit of perhaps a forced mistake from Frankenstein here is what we're going to be looking for. But Prince looking good so far through outer zone 1. Early and good coverage into outer zone 2. A little bit of contact and a little bit of a gap opening up, but nothing for long. A little bit of that classic controller wiggle from chase driver Frankenstein, but still looking smooth from lead driver. And that is a great looking battle there for both drivers. But I think that outer zone 2 mistake from Prince is going to come back to haunt him. Frankenstein with Judge 1, Judge 2, and most likely Judge 3. That is a top 32 finish for Prince and a moving on to top 16 for Frankenstein. Well done, Prince. I'm telling you, at this point in the game, small mistakes mean everything. A little bit of wall contact, a little bit too much throttle, braking at the wrong time, all leads to small differences in these runs, and that is where it all happens. We now have, I believe, let's go ahead and take a quick peek at the top 32 bracket just to refresh ourselves here as our drivers are making their way to the line. It is indeed Twirls, Gutter, Solo Lesie, Frankenstein in the top 16. And now we have our first quarterfinal run between Twirls, second quarterfinal run between Twirls and Gutter. Two very high-scoring drivers from yesterday. Twirls in the lead first up, and Gutter in the chase. Top 8 on the line. Quick off the line. Both drivers setting up a massive e-brake into outer zone 1. Looking smooth through outer zone 2. A little bit of grass on those lead tires, but nonetheless, a smooth outer zone 2 for both drivers. And outer zone 3, a lot of the same. A little bit of a gap, not able to make it up there, but that gap wasn't very big at all. Let's go ahead and see what Gutter can do in the lead now. That Aston Martin might have just a touch more grip, but we will see. Here and now, Gutter in the lead, Twirls in the chase. Little bit of early contact there before the judge section, but no big deal. It is looking solid through outer zone 1, outer zone 2. Twirls is on the door of Gutter. Gutter trying to shake him off just a bit there. Full coverage of inner clip 1, not shaking Twirls off your tail. Maximum angle and just beautiful style, smooth drifting there. A great chase from Twirls, a great lead from Gutter. That small mistake changes things up for Gutter. Again, the devil is in the details here and now with these top 16, top 8 runs. It is Twirls with an advance for Judge 1 and Judge 2, and Judge 3 joins in. Gutter making it to the top 16, but being taken out by Twirls for that top 8 position. Just not as much close proximity for Gutter on that chase. Twirls really showing their skill on that chase, providing no room for Gutter and staying on that door pretty much the entire course. Perhaps not as much of a skill issue as it is potentially a build difference. Congratulations to both drivers as Twirls moves on, but here we have Solo Lesie versus Frankenstein for yet another quarter-final position battle here. Both of these drivers trying to find their way into the top 8. Solo Lesie known to be a high-grip, high-speed drifter. Let's see if our chasing driver Frankenstein is able to keep up. A little bit of grass on those chase driver's tires, but looking to control the car back into outer zone 2, finding and then losing the door of Solo Lesie through the inner clipping zone. A little bit of an awkward entry into OZ3. Solo Lesie looking smooth as can be and trying to shake Frankenstein off, but Frankenstein just finding their way back to the door each and every time. Great battle there from Frankenstein to stay on Solo Lesie's door. Again, a driver that we can see knows how to put up good angle with speed. Solo Lesie in the chase into outer zone 1, and an early mistake from one of our veteran drivers here, hitting the rear end on the barrier before outer zone 1. Solo Lesie saying, screw it, let's find that door and super glue ourselves to it. It is an outer zone 2 door to door from Solo Lesie, and a lot of the same in outer zone 3, but what a early mistake, an unfortunate barrier hit from Solo Lesie. Very interesting to see what the judges are going to say about that. And it looks like it's going to be a one more time Solo Lesie versus Frankenstein back on the line. Frankenstein making some little awkward movements here and there. Solo Lesie with an earlier barrier hit. Both drivers making small mistakes, and here with another chance to prove that they deserve that top 8 position. A back-to-back run, giving these drivers another chance to show off their best. A little bit of debris in the road there, and a gap forming between these two drivers. Frankenstein sacrificing angle and struggling to find grip to find their way back to Solo Lesie's door, trying to keep it on the line. But Solo Lesie absolutely flying through that course and opening up a gap that never closed. Solo Lesie in the chase now, hopefully going to manage that speed a little bit better into the initiation zone. In that lime green, that trademark Solo Lesie lime green R34 into outer zone 1. No barrier hits this time, but a little bit of bumper-to-bumper contact into the transition into OZ2, but Solo Lesie bringing out the super glue once again on the door of lead driver Frankenstein through Outer Zone 2 and Interclip 1, finding their way back after the transition to make a little bit of wheel-to-wheel contact there, and the end of OZ3. An incredibly tight and clean-looking run from both drivers in the lead and the chase. We'll take it to the judges and see what they have to say about that one more time. We already have a Judge 1 decision, and there's Judge 2, Solo Lesie, snatching that top 8 position away from Frankenstein, who just missed the mark. Frankenstein, congratulations on that top 16 finish. No small feat, as I've said before, and I will say again. But Solo Lesie just inching out that competition. Kind of a lucky break there that we got to see a one more time, giving Solo Lesie the opportunity to tighten up that entry. And if you give a competitor like that another go, you better bet that it's going to look a lot cleaner. It looks like we now have a quick second to look at the top 32 bracket to refresh ourselves. We did just see both of our drivers, Twirls and Solo Lesie, battle it out for these top 8 position. Now, Twirls versus Solo Lesie to fight for the top 4. This is a round 3 quarterfinals head-to-head battle. Twirls on the line and ready to go. Solo Lesie perhaps doing a little bit of a pre-game mantra here, warming up those tires on the starting line. Both drivers ready to hit it, fighting for a quarterfinal position here, or excuse me, semi-final position here, and they're right into the top 4. Both drivers finding their way into the top 8 with incredible runs. Twirls, of course, yesterday putting up a clean leading line that we see the remnants of here and now, just so stable and smooth through all of these zones, with Solo Lesie not letting a gap open up at all. A little bit of excitement there from our drivers. You'd love to see it. Really incredible leading run there from Twirls, allowing Solo Lesie to chase through the entire course with confidence. A great looking run there. Let's see what Solo Lesie can do in the lead. A quick start here. Let's see if Twirls can find their way into the pocket of Solo Lesie. I believe that was a little bit of a shallow run through Outer Zone 1 for Solo Lesie. Perhaps not as much angle as they wish they could have gotten. And we see here Twirls pulling out all stops, finding his way to the door through the entire course. Twirls looking so stable and almost robotic through these zones. An incredible looking run there from both drivers. A little bit of that shallow angle through Outer Zone 1. When you have drivers of this skill level going against each other, those smallest details are all about it. It is Twirls with an advance into the top 4 drivers here at E-Town in round 3. Solo Lesie making it to the top 8 once again. A driver you can count on making it to the Elite 8 every single round, but unfortunately not able to make it into those semifinals. An unfortunate ending, but an incredible run from Solo Lesie. Thank you for competing, and congratulations to Twirls. Let's go ahead and take another peek at the top 32 bracket before we head into a commercial break. It is so far Karma, Mark IV, and Twirls making it into the top 4 drivers of today's round 3 at E-Town. We'll be back after these messages.
Forza Creators Guild.
Forza Creators Guild.
Welcome back once again to round 3. Right in front of you, you have your top 32 bracket. It has been incredibly tight in these head-to-head battles so far. Very, very small mistakes inching out of the lead for any driver here. Hopefully everyone is enjoying themselves over on YouTube and Twitch. We are loading currently into E-Town as we speak. We do have another convoy ready to go. I believe we're going to be seeing drivers from the bottom left-hand side of your screen, starting out with Jordan Foe versus Not Camber. After that, we'll be seeing Hot Like Soup and B-Boy, 242 Ranga and Fox, along with Levi and Misery. Of course, these drivers making it from the qualification runs yesterday into the top 32 drivers of round 3. Unfortunately, we're having some convoy issues, so it looks like we might be waiting around for just a second longer. Again, we appreciate everyone's patience and understanding, as, yeah, we all know here, Forza Horizon 5 is not forgiving. Loading screens, convoy issues, it's all kind of, difficult to work with. At least it's not motorsport, right? Anyways, we do have drivers making their way into the convoy. We'll be loading back into E-Town once we get a full convoy here. But yeah, man, this is when I wish I had a co-host here with me to be able to have conversations about these runs. You know, I feel like I have yet to see anyone with as smooth as drifts, as smooth with the drifts as Twirls. Twirls really showcasing a lot of skill here from the top 32 through top 16, top 8, and all the way into the top 4, where they're eventually, potentially, gonna meet Karma Mark IV, but of course I'm getting ahead of myself here. We still have lots of head-to-head battles to go. Anything can happen in these next 2 brackets, as our drivers will be fighting for their top 16, top 8, and top 4 position. How are all you guys doing out there on YouTube and Twitch? I have both chats open. That Ranga guy is better. I mean, that might be a little bit biased since your screen name is Ranga, huh? Would love to have another commentator up here. You know, we are always looking for passionate community members who want to help out and get involved. So if that is you, please find your way over to ForzaDriftEvents.com. Our staff team is always looking for more, again, passionate community members to help contribute to the production of this show. Of course, the production of all of these tracks that we've been using. Yeah. So check out ForzaDriftEvents.com for that. And of course, for any information regarding FDE, previous and future events. And of course, if you're on YouTube, please remember to hit that like and subscribe button. It absolutely helps out the channel. It helps us keep growing, meeting new drivers, potentially new staff members, and continue growing this league that we all love here on Forza Horizon 5. Doing pretty well. Good to hear it, Jordan. Looking forward to your head-to-head up soon. Shake and Bake, a top 32 driver from all 3 events this season, I believe. For a first rookie driver, of course, rookie being, I believe, you know, for the whole season, not just for each event. At each event, we are getting some new drivers, which is always great to see. Lovely to see the veterans come back and prepare and show the community the height of the skill ceiling here in FDE. But always important to remember the space for new drivers to come in and get involved and compete. So, Shake and Bake, a new driver to Season 4, making it into the top 32 on each event so far. Good to see you in both chats, man. We are, of course, making our way over to E-Town as we speak. We can go ahead and take a quick peek back over to the keys to victory as we are currently loading in. Oh, of course, Jordan. It's always fun and interesting to see what's gonna break, right? Is it the stream? Is Twitch servers gonna break? Is my computer gonna catch on fire? Am I gonna forget to go to commercial or mute myself? Who knows what's gonna go wrong? But we appreciate the patience and understanding always. Of course, all of this put together by just passionate drivers, passionate people who love the sport of drifting. As long as Forza Horizon 5 cooperates, we should be seeing the starting line here soon. We, at this point, know The keys to victory are crucial. Now, of course, theory and practice are two different things. Knowing what to do and then executing when the time comes, two completely different challenges. Definitely not easy to perform on the spot in these competitions, but hey, that's the name of the game. When it's your turn to the line, it's time to hit it. Good to see you as well, Twin A. And potentially some future FDE drivers and Joshy Jenkins over here on Twitch. The YouTube chat just not really being that active. I'm a little disappointed in the YouTube chat, I gotta be honest with you. You guys are weak. No, I'm just joking. I'm completely joking. You guys are great. Thank you for tuning in. We are loading into E-Town here currently. Commentator of the year. Who are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. I'm out here fumbling. You guys remember yesterday when I trolled you and I went to commercial break before Gutter got his run done? Good times. Good times. Good to see Karma Ambitions in here. Man, it would be nice to see some of you guys on the track for a round 4. Solve a Rubik's Cube right now. That's not happening. We are making our way back to the starting line as we speak. I have to make sure I don't crash into any walls and ruin the FDE camera car. Good to see IPS Toast and Sorry Canadian over on Twitch. YouTube chatters. YouTube chatters, non-existent. A lot of lurkers over on YouTube, I suppose. But thank you again, of course, joining us on youtube.com/Forza Drift Events and twitch.tv/Shunzi. Great to see everyone here, including the man himself, Jazz199. Great to see the community showing up. We appreciate you guys checking out the content we have here to go. But we are ready on the line for our next head-to-head battle. We'll take a quick peek over here to the bracket. It is going to be Jordan Foe versus Not Camber, battling it out for the top 16 position. Looks like we have Jordan Foe in the lead and Not Camber in the chase. It looks like we're waiting for Not Camber to get to the line. Jordan Foe taking a second to stretch it out. Gotta stretch out them fingies. You know what? I need to figure out who is on a wheel, who is using the controller, who's rolling their sticks, who's flicking the sticks. Would be great to have some more information on these drivers, honestly. Maybe it's because I didn't do my homework. Perhaps. Oh my goodness, I almost AFK'd. That's definitely not okay. Not Camber is stuck on rewind. I'm getting word from our judges here, from our FDE staff, that Not Camber is suffering a Forza Horizon 5 feature. It's not a feature, it's a bug. But it happens so frequently, it might as well be a feature. Of course, the one way you can see if a driver is on a controller or on the wheel is controller drivers must have the Forza Horizon paint on their tires. So that is one indicator. Very true. Very true. Okay. It looks like we do have the head-to-head battle here ready. We are good to go. Not Camber getting out of Forza Horizon 5 digital jail, back to the starting line with Jordan Foe in the lead. Here we go. Jordan Foe with a big wall collision early on and halts the run altogether. That is a Jordan Foe mistake. Slamming into the wall, bouncing off, and making major contact with the chase driver, Not Camber. I think that might count as a lead driver DNF, which would be extremely disappointing. Let's go ahead and see Yeah, that is an unfortunate lead driver DNF. When it comes down to it, ladies and gentlemen, you can have all the skill in the world, but small mistakes like that, man. Okay. All right. It's going to take an act unknown to this earth for not Camber to throw this lead run. We're going to go ahead and wait for Jordan Foe to get back to the line, potentially frustrated but with that last initiation zone. This might be a not Camber W as long as he does not DNF this lead run. I gotta be honest, I feel bad for Jordan. All that time and preparation put into the build and lap time on the course. Let's hear it for Jordan in the chase as our lead driver, not Camber, leads him through E-Town. So far, so good. Jordan just giving it his all, battling to the last breath. No matter what the stakes are, Jordan putting a show on for our viewers on YouTube and Twitch, stuck to the door of not Camber. An unfortunate ending. I believe that is going to be a DQ for Jordan on the lead, and not Camber does finish the course cleanly. So that is going to be, I believe, a not Camber W. A round of applause for a very seasoned and talented driver in Jordan Foe. It could be over just like that. Making it to the top 32, looking very promising to go further into the event, but not Camber able to put up a clean lead run, while Jordan Foe with that early initiation contact with the wall spells defeat. A little bit of an upset there, I gotta be honest with you. But that's the name of the game, ladies and gentlemen. That's the name of the game. That's competition. Everything can change that quickly. Let's take a look here. It looks like we should be having Hot Like Soup, but I believe Hot Like Soup has disappeared from E-Town. We're going to need to go find him. So for the time being, I believe we should see Ranga and Fox on the line. Do I see Fox in this convoy? I do not see Fox either. So perhaps Levi and Misery to the line. Let's go ahead and check out our E-Town gameplay and find out who it is we have here on the line. It is indeed, my deduction skills are excellent. Levi in the lead, Misery in the chase, fighting for their top 16 position. Here we go. Looking good in the Mark IV, looking good in the Aston Martin. Fantastic entry into Outer Zone 1, looking smooth for the transition into Outer Zone 2. A little bit of a shallow angle there midway through OZ2 for lead driver Levi, but finding their way back onto the course for interclipping 1, and a bit of a shallow entry into OZ3 for chase driver Misery, trying to make sure that no gap opens that they cannot close. I appreciate you taking out that fence. We now have Misery in the lead and Levi in the chase. All right. A really big gap here into OZ1. Some contact there, but not enough to shake lead driver Misery off the course. Levi with some early contact. Misery with some OZ2 struggles with the line. Both drivers trying to tighten things up before going into OZ3. Levi making sure that he doesn't leave the door of Misery no matter what the line is. Definitely a lot to consider there. Lots going on between these two drivers. Very tough to decide Another chance where, or another opportunity for me to say, I'm glad I'm not a judge. That initiation absolutely causing some issues there, Justin. However, we have on our screen a one more time from Levi and Misery. Lots to consider there from that first run. Let's hope that we have a bit of a cleaner lead and chase from these drivers on this one more time. Of course, a second opportunity could spell disaster as well. There's always opportunity to do better, but on the same token, there's always opportunity to do worse. As you can see, a small mistake can spell the end of your competition life here in round 3. Levi and Misery off the line here. Levi taking a wide entry into OZ1. Looking solid so far, clean and smooth into OZ2. Misery not letting go of the door of lead driver Levi. A little bit of a cut there on the line from Levi, but looking solid through OZ3. Looking a little bit tighter than the last round. And now we have Levi in the chase and Misery in the lead. Bit of a rolling start from chase driver Levi. Let's see how this initiation goes for these drivers. A deadly initiation zone that we've seen all weekend, taking out drivers that you might not expect. A huge entry into OZ2 for lead driver Misery, cooking those tires on the grass just a touch with great coverage over interclip 1. OZ3, the barrier just missed. Chase driver Levi trying to chase a gap that was trying to be opened the entirety of the course. Trying to make sure that they're not sacrificing angle to do that catch-up work. Of course, the lead driver line matters a lot in these decisions. And I feel like both drivers had their quirks, but Misery pulling fourth, advancing into the top 16, and Levi being pushed out of the competition. Levi, thank you for competing. A fantastic run. Your time in round 3 is over. Let's take another look at the bracket. What we just saw was Levi and Misery going at it for that top 16 position. I believe now, I'm not sure who we're going to have. We're missing some drivers in the convoy. We'll see what happens here. We do have a driver on the line. Let's take it back to E-Town and see what exactly we have here for us. It looks like this is actually going to be a bye run for Ranga. All right. A bye run for Ranga. I'm not sure what happened to our other competitor. Potentially a power outage. Of course, when you're working an online league like this... Oh, hold up. Let me stop talking because Ranga's just going to show us how it's done. A representative, a driver for Casual Crew. Just a beautiful Volvo run through E-Town. Beautiful looks from Ranga. An unfortunate bye run. Of course, it's not always possible for our drivers to maintain connection. You know, things come up. Again, this is an international circuit. Drivers from around the world competing online. Anything can happen at that point. So let's go ahead and take, again, another look at the bracket and see who it was that left the competition early for Ranga to get that bye run. It looks like, unfortunately, Fox is out of the competition. Ranga moves on to top 16 with that bye run, and we are going to regroup. We're going to grab some more drivers. Hopefully Forza Horizon 5 cooperates. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
Forza Creators Guild.
Forza Creators Guild.
Welcome back once again to E-Town. It is round 3 of FDE, and we are already heating up into the top 8 drivers of the competition. Of course, lots of incredible head-to-head battles so far today, and lots of heart-crushing defeats, but we have much more action on the table. We'll take a look at our top 32 bracket and try and make sure we're following this correctly. I believe up next we will have Hot Like Soup versus B-Boy on the line, ready to fight for their position in the top 16. Of course, already looking at the top left hand and top right hand of your bracket, we do see Karma, Mark IV, and Twirls waiting in the semi-final circle as the rest of these drivers need to battle it out and find their way in. On the line again is Hot Like Soup and B-Boy. We are ready to go. Hot Like Soup in the lead. B-Boy in the chase. Here we go. Off the line. Hot Like Soup in, I believe, that Spec 5 RTR Mustang, and an Alfa Romeo in the chase. Very narrowly missing that barrier on the entry into Outer Zone 1. B-Boy kind of counting his lucky stars at the moment, but Hot Like Soup putting up a fantastic line through the course, and B-Boy slightly playing catch-up through each of these zones. Back to the starting line to see Hot Like Soup in the chase and B-Boy in the lead. Some of these drivers and their setups causing the chase driver to just play catch-up here. We'll see if B-Boy can shake Hot Like Soup off of his tail. Soup and B-Boy into the initiation of Outer Zone 1. B-Boy cutting it just a little bit short there. Perhaps not as clean of an Outer Zone 1 line. Hot Like Soup finding the door of lead driver B-Boy through inner clip 1, and Outer Zone 3 hit with a lot of the same. However, those early mistakes on Outer Zone 1 and the entry into Outer Zone 2, of course, the lead and chase runs are very important, but the leading run, that line, the angle, the style, everything has to be considered. Looks like we already have an advance for Hot Like Soup, perhaps by the skin of his teeth, but an advance nonetheless. B-Boy making it to the top 32 of round 3. Congratulations, but Hot Like Soup has taken you out of the competition, and Hot Like Soup moves on to the top 16. Great to see everyone over on Twitch tuning in. Great to see everyone on YouTube tuning in. Remember, ForzaDriftEvents.com for all of the information you want and need about more drifting action for the rest of Season 4. It looks like we have an update to our drivers on the line. I believe this is the first top 8 head-to-head for this specific group of drivers. We have Hot Like Soup in the chase and not Camber in the lead. Fighting from top 16 into the top 8. Some early contact there, but nothing that these drivers cannot handle. I love seeing the skill expression to be able to take contact like that, to make a mistake, to regain control of the car, and put up a beautiful run here from lead driver Not Camber, trying to chase. Ooh, and a little bit of an oversteer situation there right at the end of Outer Zone 3. Just feet away from the end of the judged section, and unfortunately Not Camber throwing themselves into an oversteer situation, perhaps DNFing their lead run there. Hot Like Soup has a clear path to victory ahead as long as he doesn't mimic that mistake. It is going to take a Hot Like Soup DNF here for not Camber to have any hope. It was looking so good through the start of the course, but not Camber holding on by a thread at the moment, but putting up a show for us on YouTube and Twitch nonetheless, here with some door-to-door action on E-Town, throwing themselves into Outer Zone 3. A clean lead run from Hot Like Soup. I think that's the end of Not Camber. A really late oversteer situation like that has to be frustrating. That looks like a Hot Like Soup advanced. We were right. Hot Like Soup advancing from top 32 to top 16 just before our eyes, and here and now kicking out Not Camber and making it into the top 8. Hot Like Soup is heating up. Not Camber, congratulations on that top 16 finish, but your time in round 3 ends here and now. Up next, we have 2-4-2 Ranga versus Misery. Battling for that top 8 position, Ranga in the lead, Misery in the chase. Drivers are ready to go. Big, beautiful initiation there from our lead driver, Ranga, through Outer Zone 1. Great coverage, catching up some speed here, but not sacrificing that angle through Outer Zone 2. Perhaps this Aston Martin just doesn't have the power or the grip to close up this gap that Ranga opened up early on. Misery chasing a door on the horizon, unfortunately, there. Let's see if Ranga can rein in Misery on the chase. Free fish on the trunk there from chase driver Ranga. I don't want to know what his trunk smells like, but it doesn't matter because we're going into Outer Zone 1. Misery fighting for their competition life here. Looking good so far through Outer Zone 2. Ranga reining in the door of lead driver Misery. Any gap that opens is quickly shut into Outer Zone 3. Ranga finds the door and slightly leaves it there at the very end, but I think that might be a Ranga win. That is indeed a Ranga advance. Misery making it to the top 16, but Ranga pushing out ahead for the advancement into the rest of the competition. It is now time for a semi-final head-to-head battle. It is top 8 driver Hot Like Soup versus top 8 driver 242 Ranga, going head to head for their chance at a top 4 finish. Hot Like Soup in the lead, Ranga in the chase. Both drivers ready and warm to hit this initiation just right, and they do indeed. Ranga finding that door early on and sticking with it. Hot Like Soup trying to shake off Ranga, unable to through Outer Zone 2. A little bit of a shallow coverage through Inner Clip 1 and a bit of grass on the tires on the entry into OZ3, but nonetheless a beautiful lead line from Hot Like Soup and an incredible chase. On the door of lead driver was 242 Ranga. ladies and gentlemen, it is here and now. Can 242 Ranga pull out ahead and send Hot Like Soup to the grave? Or will Hot Like Soup advance into the top 4 here in round 3 on E-Town? Definitely a little bit of a gap there into Outer Zone 1. Drivers of this caliber, the smallest details are where your eyes have to be, ladies and gentlemen. A little bit of a gap opening up there in Outer Zone 2 and Outer Zone 3. Hot Like Soup finally finding that door, really close proximity throughout the entire run. I'm not sure what to say. I don't know who has a lead here. Thankfully, I'm not a judge. Ranga, I remember in Outer Zone 2 did have a little bit of a gap open up for them, and that might be what the judges were looking at as well. Judge 1 comes through and Judge 2 does as well. That is an advance for 242 Ranga into the top 4, making it all the way from qualifying yesterday into the semifinals here today on E-Town. Hot Like Soup with a hot run through the bracket today, but unfortunately meeting their demise against the 242 Ranga. Great run, great looks. Ladies and gentlemen, we have yet another regroup underway. Let's take a look at the bracket and get excited for what is coming up next. The competition is heating up. We have Karma, Mark IV, Twirls, and 242 Ranga in the semifinals. We will now see, we know, Karma versus 242 Ranga coming up soon. Twirls waiting to know their competitor for the semifinals coming up from the next bracket. We have James Neilio, IPS Toast, Pulse, Metazone, Daddy Dilds, Dead to You, Reborn, and Trash Uborka. Don't go anywhere, more head-to-head in round 3 at E-Town coming up next.
Forza Creators Guild.
Forza Creators Guild.
Welcome back once again. It is round 3 here on E-Town. Great to have you all here on youtube.com/Forza Drift Events and twitch.tv/Shunzy. We are unfortunately looking for a missing driver, so we're going to need a few minutes to get that sorted. Once we do, we'll be back into the action, but for the time being, anyone who has joined us recently might need to take a quick peek over at the keys to victory. So we'll take a quick look here. Of course, the initiation, we have seen people being taken out by the barrier before Outer Zone 1. The initiation, your speed and angle matters. You have to be able to put up, throw down, whatever you want into Outer Zone 1. And of course, the barrier is not ending in Outer Zone 1. Each zone, Outer Zone 2 and Outer Zone 3, beginning with a barrier that is easy to misjudge your speed against. But of course, that's not the only challenge. The track does have an elevation change in the middle of the track that drivers will be going over 3 times. So maintaining consistent angle through those elevation changes, through those little bumps that can send you off angle or offline is crucial. Getting a wide line out of Outer Zone 2 through inner clipping 1, we've seen a lot of drivers unfortunately not setting themselves up for success in OZ3 and taking an awkward line through the zone, ending up in their demise. Of course, ending Outer Zone 3 all the way up to the end of the judged section is important. Of course, we're not seeing the live scores here during the main event, but you bet that the judges are going to be looking at every point in the zones to make sure that our drivers are putting up where they say they are. Of course, the track showcase we've seen time and time again, but we'll go ahead and take a quick peek as we are loading into the track currently. 3, 2, 1 markers here right before the beginning of the judge section. That barrier, that blue and yellow barrier on the left has been a menace all weekend. Outer Zone 2 starts a little bit later than some drivers, or earlier for some drivers, because I've seen a lot of cutting of Outer Zone 2, whether it be at the beginning or the end or both. Going out wide to those blue and yellow bricks on the right hand side to make a nice return to inner clip 1 and a good angle into Outer Zone 3. Outer Zone 3 starts really early in another area where I've seen drivers just not able to make the full zone. But at this point in the competition, again, we've seen 3 out of the top 4 drivers already fight their way through the bracket. We are now looking for that bottom right hand side of your screen to be filled out. We have James Neilio, our 3rd seed, and a qualifying score of 96 yesterday from James shows me that he is going to be tough to beat. We're going to see James Neilio take on IPS Toast. Toast definitely has his work cut out for him. He does have his fan group here live on Twitch, cheering him on, cheering their friend on, their teammate. Of course, later on, we'll see Pulse and Metazone. We'll see Daddy Dilds, who was our last qualifying run from yesterday, who put up a score of 91. An incredible score at really late in the day, taking on Dead to You G59. It looks like we have an update, ladies and gentlemen. The 11th seed driver previously was Death Wish Drifting Reborn. Unfortunately, unable to make it to the competition today. I'm not exactly sure why. Of course, we hope everything is okay with that driver, but it is MSAM, a rookie to FDE, who comes in, I believe, scored like a 71 yesterday during qualifying. So MSAM is actually next in line for the competition, and MSAM will be taking on Trash Uborka. So Some interesting late developments in the bracket. Definitely shaking things up a little bit. I'm sure MSAM will be happy at the chance to show their head-to-head skill, but we do have drivers on the line ready to go right in front of us. It is James, Neilio, and IPS Toast. I believe they just disappeared and are now materializing in front of us. Some weird things happening in New Jersey. Who knows what's going on at E-Town? And there is our Toast back in the flesh. It is Toast in the chase and James Neilio in the lead. Battling for a top 16 position here. As we do know, initiation can be tricky into outer zone 1. A little bit of contact there, but nothing James and Toast cannot handle. James Neilio going through outer zone 2, clean as can be. Angle, speed, dust in the face of IPS Toast. It's an unfortunate lead, or great lead, but an unfortunate chase from IPS Toast. Perhaps a gap opening up in outer zone 2 that was not able to be closed. That Mustang perhaps having too much power and grip for Toast's S13, I believe. Don't hate me if I got that wrong. But we do have James Neilio in the chase and IPS Toast in the lead. IPS Toast having a little bit of trouble with their car, and you can see it there. Perhaps the tune just not as dialed in as they wish it was. IPS Toast oversteering on the initiation through outer zone 1. Just a little bit too much throttle and a little bit too little grip, sending him into an oversteer situation. And James Neilio will be moving on into the top 16. That is indeed a James Neilio advance. An unfortunate ending there for IPS Toast. Making it into the top 32 is still no small feat. Congratulations and thank you for competing, but your time here is over. James Neilio, it's definitely a lot of work to take out someone like that, so respect. We now have on the line Pulse and Metazone. Metazone ready to go. Pulse finding their way into the initiation zone for that OZ1 coverage. A little bit of an awkward line through that outer zone 1, but a recovery is being made into outer zone 2. A little awkward so far, and a little bit of a gap here into the inner clipping zone, but chase driver Metazone doing quick work, but unfortunately a bit of an awkward entry for chase driver Metazone into outer zone 3. A little bit of a shaky run there to start things out between these two drivers. But we do now have Pulse from Why So Serious in the chase and Metazone in the lead. Metazone Wharf finding their way quickly to the zone, not waiting a single second longer than they have to. But Why So Serious Pulse finding the door quickly, speeding up and saying, hey, you can't run from me. Finding the door through outer zone 2, looking solid through the inner clip 1. Can we see Metazone Wharf shake off Pulse through outer zone 3? And they could not. A lot closer proximity there, but perhaps a cleaner lead from Metazone. That is going to be difficult to decide. Some weird entry from Pulse in the lead, and a little bit of a shaky line through outer zone 2 were his mistakes on the lead. And then Metazone Wharf with a bit of a cleaner chase, but perhaps a more distance, more gap on the lead. Our judges basically agreeing with me that there's a lot to consider here. Of course, thanks to YouTube, we do have live replay, so if there's ever any question, of course our judges will be reviewing that live footage. And it looks like they did, and the decision is here. It is a one more time from Pulse and Metazone. A little bit of shakiness from these drivers in their first run. Again, an opportunity to tighten things up here. It is Why So Serious Pulse and Metazone Wharf back on the line. Some mind games as well. Some early braking, or maybe a little bit of early speed or late speed into outer zone 1. It looks a little bit more consistent here. A little bit of a late push through outer zone 2, and that was some contact from our chase driver Metazone, pushing Pulse into the grass there. A little bit too much contact, and that might have been a forced DNF. I think in that situation, since the chase driver caused the accident, that's going to be a DNF from Metazone Wharf on the chase. We'll see. Judges will look back at the footage. Don't hold my word to it. I don't have the live replay on my hands, but they certainly do. But before we get to that, it is Metazone on the lead and Pulse in the chase. A little bit of nerves here, potentially playing a role in this head-to-head. Obviously, both of these drivers at a high skill level, but perhaps letting the nerves get to the best of them. A little bit more contact there in outer zone 1, pushing Metazone Wharf out wide just a touch. Pulse is obviously having to manage their speed majorly through these zones, and although he is close, that controller thumbstick flicking style, along with a lot of extra power, and Pulse doing a lot of work to try to keep themselves at the door, but not too close and not too far. Metazone leaving it up to the judges now. We're going to go ahead, and it looks like I'm getting word from our judges. This is going to be a quick review. That early mistake from Metazone Wharf, pushing Pulse out wide in outer zone 2. They're going to need to take a look at that and see if that contact was enough to cause a Metazone DNF for that chase. It's always difficult to determine, of course, with only one camera angle. Thanks, Forza. Ladies and gentlemen, on a side note, just really quickly to cut the tension, we should all petition for some more like theater mode style features in this game. We're doing a lot with a little here, folks. But it looks like we have word back into the zone. It is Why So Serious Pulse with an advanced Judge 3 trying to get that one more time. But unfortunately, Metazone with that contact in outer zone 2, just a little bit too much, causing a DNF for that chase. And Pulse with a clean lead and a clean chase takes the W and moves in to the top 16. A quick look at the live bracket. We did just see Pulse take out Metazone, and now it is going to be Daddy Dilds versus Dead to You G59. Looking for a top 16 position. Daddy Dilds in the lead and Dead to You in the chase. bit of bumper contact for that there for lead driver Daddy Dilds. Dead to you, concerning himself a little bit with the distance here. It looks like Daddy Dilds might have sacrificed angle through Outer Zone 2 for speed, perhaps into Outer Zone 3 as well. Dead to you really just trying to follow the line and trying to, I don't know, not much gap was made up there by Dead to you. But I'll be honest, a little bit of straightening from that lead driver might have caused that gap to open up and not be closed. We'll go ahead and see. Of course, sacrificing angle for speed is not really what we want to see. But Dead to you in the lead and Daddy Dilds in the chase. Here we go. Lots of power in this Mustang in the chase. Let's see how Daddy Dilds is able to manage that speed going into Outer Zone 1. A little bit hot on the tires there for lead driver Dead to you. Little bit of contact there, sending Dead to you wide. Perhaps not as deep of an inner clip hit as they may have wanted, but pushing through nonetheless to the end of Outer Zone 3. Lots to consider there. The line, the angle of both of these drivers, definitely looking good. Dead to you, just not enough speed on that chase. I think, yeah. Daddy Dilds with an advance into the top 16. Dead to you with a great looking run, a great looking chase. Unfortunately, just not enough power or grip in that 350Z or 370Z Nismo rather. Sending Daddy Dilds in the top 16 and Dead to you ending their competition life here and now. And unfortunately, we do have another regroup on the board. Let's go ahead and take another look at the top 32 bracket. We are almost done with event 3, but some high octane action coming up next. We will see James Neilio take on Pulse. Daddy Dilds will take on the driver between M. Sam and Trash Uborka. These drivers will head to head for a top 8 and then a top 4 position. I believe we're coming down to the wire here. Our last 1 or 2 convoys are coming up next. Hopefully we'll see you guys there. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back after this short commercial break.
Forza Creators Guild.
Forza Creators Guild.
Straight back into the action. We are here at E-Town. This is getting to the end of round 3. The competition is on the line for these drivers, each head-to-head, narrowing down our top 32 into the top 4 for the semifinals. We have Karma, Twirls, and 242 Ranga already waiting in that ring, while James, Neilio, Pulse, Daddy Dilds, and MSAM are coming up next. Looks like, unfortunately, we do have another development. MSAM actually getting a bye round into the top 16. Unfortunately, another driver just not able to make it. So we have MSAM into the top 16 with a bye run. And now, MSAM has his work cut out for him. Daddy Dilds is a qualifying score of 91 from yesterday. and MSAM with a qualifying score of 71. This is going to be a challenge. Let's see how MSAM can handle it, but I think up first we're going to have James, Neilio, and Pulse. We do indeed have James, Neilio, and Pulse. James in the lead and Pulse in the chase. Both drivers representing Casual Crew, but definitely heating up with the competition. If I say that one more time, I'm going to fire myself. But we have our drivers on the line. Let's get into this head-to-head. All right, James with a little bit of a bog down there for Outer Zone 1. Some contact early on in that zone, sending James into a bit of an awkward situation. But Pulse having a weird line through Outer Zone 2. A little bit of an awkward chase there with an early slow Outer Zone 1. Perhaps some strategy being displayed here to try and shake up Pulse on the chase. Pulse and James. Pulse in the lead, James in the chase. Top 8 on the line. Pulse with a good coverage and good angle through Outer Zone 1. James, Neilio having more contact at pretty much the same point in the run as previous. Outer Zone 2 finding the door of lead driver Pulse though, and Outer Zone 3 with good angle and proximity to the lead driver. An interesting run, very similar Outer Zone 1 snafus there. Very similar runs, but it looks like we do indeed see James and Neilio advancing. Judge 1, Judge 2, Judge 3 agree. They saw something that sends James and Neilio into the top 8, while Pulse ends their round 3 competition life here in top 16. Great runs, Pulse. Hopefully see you again in round 4. But James, Neilio moving on to top 8. I believe up next we're going to see Daddy Dilds and MSAM. MSAM in the chase. Daddy Dilds finding their way to the starting line. MSAM being a rookie driver and Daddy Dilds being one of the higher caliber drivers in FDE. This is going to be a challenge for MSAM. Let's hear it for him as he takes on a lion. MSAM's going to need to get that grip. There we go. Catching up to Daddy Dilds, going into Outer Zone 1. Losing a bit of space and time here through the transition. Some contact into the wall on that right-hand side, but not giving up just yet. MSAM doing everything they can to find their way back to the lead driver while maintaining a little bit of angle. Straightening out through Outer Zone 3. Props for not giving up, but absolutely Daddy Dilds with a fantastic lead run there. Let's go ahead and see what MSAM can do in the lead. All right, MSAM, here we go. Daddy Dilds doesn't exactly need to be stuck to the door of MSAM, but I'm looking to see MSAM to put up a good lead run here. All starts with a transition, or excuse me, an initiation through Outer Zone 1. MSAM looking good through Outer Zone 1, trying to find that angle, but still struggling with this build perhaps through Outer Zone 2. Daddy Dilds being careful not to DNF himself by sending MSAM into the Shadow Realm. MSAM doing their absolute best and putting up a decent line there, but I think Daddy Dilds is going to take this one. MSAM joining us on short notice. Thank you very much. but I believe we're going to take it to the judges panel, and it is indeed a Daddy Dilds W. Sam, once again, a rookie driver to FDE, qualifying with a score of 71. Yesterday, a good qualifying score, coming back to help us out and filling in a spot with short notice. Sam, thank you for competing. Unfortunately, top 16 with that bye run is the end of your Event 3 life. It looks like we have a heater coming up next. It is going to be a top 4 battle between James Neilio and Daddy Dilds. Daddy Dilds representing door-to-door action, and James Neilio representing casual crew. Both drivers strutting their stuff through the bracket into the top 8. Now time to battle for a semi-final position. Both drivers ready off the line, ready to get into this initiation zone that has claimed so many lives this weekend. Let's see how they go through Outer Zone 1. Clean and controlled through Outer Zone 1. Beautiful synchronized transitions with a little bit of a straighten out from chase driver Daddy Dilds to try to find the door of lead driver James through interclip 1. Able to find that door once again, but a gap opening up. Just a little bit too much power and grip on that lead Mustang. The chase driver Daddy Dilds trying to find angle while catching up to the lead. Sacrificing that angle just a touch there. But very clean runs from James Neilio in the white and gold CCX Mustang there. White and gold Mustang with James Neilio in the chase. Daddy Dilds in the lead. Can Daddy Dilds shake James off of his tail for a top 4 finish here at E-Town? Daddy Dilds looking to employ as much strategy as they possibly can. James Neilio looking, seeing the horizon of that top 4 finish. A good transition into Outer Zone 2. Here is where a lot changes, but not a lot for these two drivers. Perhaps a bit of a difference between Outer Zone 2, Outer Zone 1, but Outer Zone 2 is looking good, and Outer Zone 3 is looking a lot of the same. James absolutely stuck on the door of lead driver Daddy Dilds. Daddy Dilds struggling with their lead run on Outer Zone 1, just having a shallow go through the zone, but absolutely well done from both drivers. Gotta love synchronized tandems, baby. James Neilio with a Judge 1 advance, and there it is, ladies and gentlemen. James Neilio is your final top 4 competitor, taking out Daddy Dilds from the top 8. A top 8 finish. Again, no small feat. Daddy Dilds, congratulations on the great finish. Your time here on E-Town in Event 3 is over. A very good looking run to round out our top 4 semi-finalists. We have Karma Mark IV, Twirls, the 242 Ranga, and James Neilio, our Event 3 semi-finalists. Of course, now it's time to see who is going to make it to the finals. It's Karma Mark IV versus 242 Ranga. At this point in the competition, we're looking for perfection. The smallest gap, the smallest angle change, just a little bit of instability, and one of these drivers can go home very quickly. FDE Season 4, Round 3, here on E-Town. Semi-finalists, Karma in the lead and Ranga in the chase. Karma with a fantastic opening initiation into Outer Zone 1. Ranga on the tail, hot on the heels of lead driver Karma through Outer Zone 2 and the initial inner clip. Outer Zone 3, a little bit of a gap opening up right there in the middle of OZ3, but nonetheless, damn near perfection for these drivers. Man, love to see two drivers of this caliber going head-to-head here in FDE. This is what it's all about, ladies and gentlemen. An incredible run so far. We are going to, of course, see Ranga in the lead and Karma in the chase. Karma with a fantastic lead so far. Can Ranga snap back? Fighting for a finals position. Ranga goes into Outer Zone 1. A little bit of early contact, but Ranga is unfazed. Karma trying to glue himself, literally sticking his arm out the window and getting super glue on his car. Unfortunately, a little bit of a gap opening up in Inner Clip 1 and Outer Zone 3 still looking solid. I'll tell you, I don't know who takes that. I'm going to be honest with you, I kind of want it one more time. Great entries from both drivers. We have 1 vote and 2 votes for 242 Ranga. We have our first finalist of round 3. It is the 242 Ranga, taking out a potential fan favorite in Karma Mark IV. Some clean runs yesterday and today for the qualifying score of 97. Really understands this track, but it comes down to the smallest head-to-head battle strategy. Of course, Karma with a fantastic run through the main event bracket into the top 4. Incredible looks from Karma, but unfortunately not enough to take out Ranga. Ranga is going to be sitting on the sidelines because it is now again a battle for the finals position between Twirls and James Neilio. Teammates of Casual Crew meeting each other in the semifinals to try and take one another out. It is CCX on CCX violence here in this head-to-head. We see both drivers in the white and gold showing their colors. CCX representing here in round 3 with some beautiful looks and beautiful synchronized tandems. Not much to say about that other than near perfection. Beautiful looks from both drivers. Twirls and James Neilio with all the angle, line, understanding, and style that you could ask for. Battling for top 2, their finals position, with James in the front and Twirls close behind. Outer Zone 1 looking fantastic. An early entry into Outer Zone 2 and a smooth ride through the zone. Both of these drivers just absolutely planted into their angle with these cars just so dialed in. And an incredible look from 2 of our high caliber drivers of the day. James Neilio and Twirls showing us exactly why we love this sport with some of the cleanest runs of the competition, perhaps of the season so far. Absolutely fire. The judges all agree, though. It is Twirls moving on to the finals. James Neilio, oh my gosh, I gotta be honest with you, I don't know how they made that decision because both drivers are just looking so talented, so robotic. Beautiful runs from both of our top 4 semi-finalists here, but it is Twirls advancing on to the finals, ladies and gentlemen. We'll take a quick peek back to see how they made it here. It is the 242 Ranga in the finals versus Twirls. Both drivers getting ready to get to the line. I'm excited to see this. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Forza Drift Events Round 3, Season 4 Finals here at E-Town. We've seen these drivers represent their crew from qualifying through the bracket to here in the championship. Ladies and gentlemen, get on your feet, put your hands together for your finalists, Twirls and Ranga. Twirls in the lead. Ranga in the chase. The Aston Martin versus the Volvo. How will these drivers vote for a restart, actually? That is a Ranga restart before the beginning of the judge section. I believe Twirls is going to make their way back to the starting line. Ranga just not liking the way that was looking off the line. I'm going to make sure to line up the best I can. Make sure that this horn is as predictable as possible so our drivers can get the best run possible. Once again, your championship head-to-head battle. Ranga looking better off the line there. Not as much gap between the lead driver and the chase. Some synchronized initiations into outer zone 1. Looking so clean, so prepared. These drivers putting in the lap time, putting in the shop time to tune their cars. A tiny bit of a gap opening up to the inside of interclip 1, but not much else to say. Outer zone 3, the gaps remaining. Perhaps that Volvo just not able to handle that much angle without the grip. We'll see how Twirls handles the chase here. It is our second part of the finals head-to-head. 2-4-2 Ranga in the lead, Twirls in the chase. Twirls with that trademark style, as smooth and stable as possible. The smallest amount of adjustments, just sticking himself to the rear quarter panel of that Volvo. And on the side, door to door, it is Twirls with a fantastic chase run, a fantastic lead run. I think the distance between Ranga and Twirls on that initial run might be the decision maker for Event 3. Let's see who's going to take it. Who is our champion of Event 3 here in Season 4? I kind of want to see Twirls with this W. I want to see gold around his neck. Let's see if we can get the judge's decision. The anticipation is sort of killing me. Do they think this is a one more time? Okay, we have 1 for Twirls. Judge 1 for Twirls. Judge 2 and Judge 3. Come on. Come on. Twirls with a Judge 1 advance. 1 vote away from gold here at E-Town, and it is true. Twirls with a final advancement. The winner of Event 3 here at E-Town, it is Twirls. 2-4-2 Ranga heading out with the silver. An incredibly close run here for the last few head-to-head battles, but a well-deserved first place finish for Twirls. First place, Twirls. Second place, 2-4-2 Ranga. And third place, Karma Mark IV. Ladies and gentlemen, these are your podium drivers for Forza Drift Events Season 4, Round 3 at E-Town. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Twirls, I promise you, from yesterday, you could see the confidence on the track. You can see today throughout the entire bracket. You can see the stability. You can see the control. The time put into the seat. The time put into the tune. Looking good with the white and gold CCX livery. an incredible finish from Twirls. I am not sure if Twirls has competed previously. I almost want to say they've been competing their whole life, but with how stable they were looking there, I believe we're going to have a couple of words from our judges coming in. We'll go ahead and wait to hear from the judges. What an incredible run. Those last few runs, the Twirls versus James Neilio and Twirls versus 242 Ranga, might have well been the best head-to-heads we've seen all season long. I don't know about you guys. This is my first season with FDE, and I am having my eyes opened to the height of the skill ceiling for this game. These drivers right now are not even done driving. I can kick it over to gameplay and show you guys right now. These guys are still going for it, just loving the sport. The pure dedication is being displayed. A little bit of destruction too, but back to the bracket. We do have our organizer Shred It and Judge Baz here in the staff channel. What are your guys' thoughts about the competition?
Oh, bro. I don't know what to say. What's the words? All these fucking killer runs, some wall taps here and there, causing some DNFs, but fuck.
Oh yeah, definitely the greatest grade 8 so far during the season. Yeah, definitely just the level of driving, the just the drivers themselves, obviously the cars, and just the display of skill. It's just amazing. I'm really glad to have witnessed this. It's really rare you see this level of driving in Forza. It's amazing. So hopefully we'll see more of this in the future rounds as well. But they're absolutely amazing. All the drivers did really well today. So yeah, just some accidents obviously happen. Some really early leaves due to mistakes, DNF, spinning outs, but that's part of the game. So
part of the run. That's why we have 6 events a year. You can always come back, try again, and prove what you've got under the hood. And of course, like you said, some early defeats. We had one of note was Jordan Foe. Watching him hit that barrier on the entry into Outer Zone 1 was devastating. I gotta be honest with you. I almost didn't want to believe it.
Yeah, it definitely was. Yeah, he did mention that I think his controller disconnected right at the moment when he started. Or something like that. So yeah, and he did say that the competition chat like just like an FOY, like for everybody that's driving, make sure your controller
plug it in.
Is okay
wired controllers, wired controllers, ladies and gentlemen. Some catastrophic hardware failure from Jordan Foe's controller. That has to be one of the most unfortunate controller disconnects I've ever seen.
Yeah,
but of
it
course,
has happened before to other people as well. I'm not sure if that's even first time for Jordan. I do have a vague memory of something similar happening in season 3 to Jordan. I don't know exactly what it was, but like just something is ringing my bells in the head. I don't know. Something very similar happened. Maybe to Jordan, maybe it was Cutter. I don't know.
Oh my god! Hopefully he learns his lesson soon.
He definitely will. I think
the top 4.
Definitely. It's really hard to say. The level of competition today was really crazy.
Absolutely.
He definitely would have had the chance to move up very far in the competition. But sometimes
that's how it goes. That's how it goes.
Give other drivers the chance to actually good run there.
And a hefty thank you for the drivers who joined us and filled in, like M-Sam, definitely putting up a valiant effort, not giving up at any point, putting in a lead, putting in a chase, doing their best. It was great to see that as well. Of course, these last few runs were pretty incredible. Watching Twirls take out Solo Lesie, James Neilio taking out Daddy Dilds. These drives for the top 8 were elite. They might as well have been a championship run in the top 8. The amount of skill being displayed, like the little bit of really just robotic looking, like it kind of blows my mind how stable Twirls is and how accurate they are with their. They are a controller or on a wheel by chance?
Twirls is on a wheel. Yeah, Neilio is on a wheel. Ranga is on a controller, and Karma is on a controller. So 2 stick rollers versus 2 wheel players. So,
couldn't have had it better. Wow.
Exactly, it's very good. It's very good, and it really shows you that they can compete together. So
yeah,
we definitely saw a lot of wheel-to-wheel action today in terms of like wheel player going against a wheel player, and that kind of showed us like it's really rough going against another wheel player in a way, because if you make that small mistake, you imagine your speeds are so similar that if you make a small mistake on a chase, for example,
so noticeable.
It's super hard to catch up anymore, because that lead driver is gonna go. It's gonna keep going and it's gonna keep going, and it's super hard to catch up with a wheel. So that's why like wheel versus wheel always in a battle is super rough. But once if you have robots like Twirls and Neilio, it's gonna go good. It's gonna be amazing to witness. So yeah.
Twirls, just watching, especially in that last run against Ranga, watching him set himself up on the door of Ranga on his chase. There were very few corrections that you could even notice from a third-person perspective, but the few that I saw were just so accurate. The angle changes were so precise. There was no overcorrection or undercorrection, just precise angle when he needed it, keeping himself on Ranga's door.
Yeah, exactly. If you watch again, going back to Ranger's lead, he definitely did a really weird transition out of the outer one to the outer two. He kind of skipped the first half of the entry to the outer two, and Twirls was somehow, I don't know how, but he just managed to like mimic that absolutely perfect. I was thinking
he's
like, okay,
different, bro.
It's built different. It's built different. He made a mistake there, and I don't think Twirls expected that to happen, but he just fucking nailed it. He was on the door all the way through, and it was like that was the point where I was like, okay, Twirls is gonna take this, no question. As long as he keeps the proximity up, it's gonna be Twirls.
Yeah, when you're in that chasing position, you almost hope that your lead driver runs a very predictable line, but when the unpredictable situations arise, seeing a driver like Twirls make those corrections on the fly so accurately just goes to build more of a reputation from our gold medalist here in round 3. Looking forward to round 4. Where are we headed, Shreddit?
We are headed to Road Atlanta.
Road Atlanta. 3 weeks.
Yes, sir.
Check out.
March 30th and March 31st. So the last 2 days of the month.
31st.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. Fantastic. Well, I'll let you guys know, Forza Drift Events is where you're going to find all of the information about today's competition, as well as the next round of Season 4. We're going to Road Atlanta, ladies and gentlemen, on March 30th and March 31st. So look forward to it. Get involved with the Discord. We'll see you guys all there. I think that's it for now. Once again, one more time, thank you to all of our competitors, for everyone that showed up for qualifications, for everyone showing up into the top 32 bracket, for everyone who put forth a best they could in each chase and each lead. We appreciate all of our drivers, everyone that's contributing to the liveries, the tunes, the practice time. You guys make up this community exactly what it is. And from the desk here, we appreciate you guys tuning in on youtube.com/Forza Drift Events and twitch.tv/Shunzi. Like and subscribe on the YouTube. Check out my personal channel, and make sure you visit ForzaDriftEvents.com for all the information you could possibly want. Any parting words, Shreddit and Baz?
No, nothing but
CCX, baby.
Yeah.
CCX, dude. CCX showed up. I'm telling you.
Yeah, they did. They
honestly,
really did.
I'm gonna put this out there, man. The boys putting a lot of practice together.
That's what I'm saying. Guys, if you are an up-and-coming FDE competitor, the more you get involved with these communities, all of our partners, including CCX, if you look at the top 4 today, these CCX drivers are serious competitors. 3 out of the 4 drivers of our semi-finalists were CCX drivers. If you guys want to get involved, check out the Discords and go find the links to the CCX Discord, because they are holding daily practice sessions and daily competitions in preparation for these events. So before round 4, get the links. But I think that's all to be said. Again, thank you guys all for joining us today. Shreddit, Baz, thank you guys for all of your work. It's a pleasure to have hosted round 3 of Season 4 FDE.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe, baby. Check out the links.
See you in 3 weeks.
See y'all at Road Atlanta on the end of the month. Peace.